Hey everybody, what's up? I'm back here for part two on my favorite comedy films. Now, if you haven't seen the first part of it, then you should definitely check it out. You can either jump like parts if you want to watch part two first or part one first, but I'll put a link in the description for part one in case you haven't seen it yet. That way you don't have to go searching for it. Just click it right underneath here. But anyway, I'm going to be continuing on here with the movies I have left. I don't have that many left, so hopefully this won't be as long as the first part. And I just set up new lighting here because it's now nighttime and the lighting on the first part is not that good. So hopefully this lighting is a lot better. Now, the next movie I have here is out of all the Ernest movies, I even own all of them except for Goes to School, which I have on a DVR. My mom bought it on VHS, thinking I didn't have that one, but I have all the Ernest films, but this is like my favorite film out of the series next to Scared Stupid, and it's Ernest Goes to Camp. It's about Ernest who works at this boys' summer camp, and his biggest dream is to become a camp counselor. So they send him up with a group of troublesome boys that were sent to a detention center to like stay at the camp, and Ernest had to try to deal with them but the boys end up giving him like a lot of trouble, and then this mining company. In the meantime, this mining company is planning to destroy the camp to look for some mineral, try to buy the camp, like destroy it. So I mean, this is definitely a very good movie. Like some of the Ernest movies, like I pretty much like all of them. Like not as much, but this is like the best one to check out. And yeah, it's definitely a very good Ernest movie. Like a very true '80s one. Like I love the music in that, and it's just so good. Now this is one of the earlier spoof films. Like this is what inspired other films like Scary Movie and other ones. This is a classic one. It's Airplane, which is a spoof of the they did a spoof of that one plane movie in that came out in the '70s. Like if you see what I'm talking about, there's a clip of it. It's such a funny one, and it also has a scene that spoofs Saturday Night Fever. Everyone knows that one. It also has Robert Hayes, Leslie Nelson, Don't Call Me Shirley, and what else is in that? Peter Graves, and a lot of people in this. It's like my favorite spoof film next to a superhero movie. Even though this came out in the '80s, it's of course still considered classic. But there's, like I said in the first part, there's not that many spoof films that are funny, hysterical. And this one is kind of like a remake of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Even though I've seen parts of it, but this one is definitely hilarious. And this one that not that many people may know of, and it's Rat Race, and it's pretty much like the same plot as Mad World. These are celebrities going out on a race to get $2 million. Yeah, just making sure I got that right. It's got a lot of big names. It's got Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, Whoopi Goldberg, Breckin Meyer, John Cleese, Seth Green, John Lovitz, and Cuba Gooding Jr. I mean, this film is definitely hilarious. If you loved Mad World, then I would definitely recommend this one. It's very, very funny. Like I'm surprised I don't hear people bring up much. We show it to people in this film, and it's you get a good laugh out of it. And it also has an appearance by the band Smash Mouth. I mean, it's definitely like one of my favorite comedies. It has a lot of funny stuff in it. Definitely must see. The next one is one of the Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder films that I think it's well known. Just I think a little bit next to they did a few of them. They did Silver Streak. They did that one film that came out in 1991. It's called Another You or something like that. Yeah. And I don't know how many films they did, but this is like the first one I've seen. I've yet to see Silver Streak, but I'm pretty sure I definitely have to check it out. I've heard it's good. And it's See No Evil, Hear No Evil. It's about Richard Pryor's blind, Gene Wilder is deaf, and then someone gets murdered and they get framed for it. So Pryor and Wilder have to go find the killer. I mean, it's such a funny movie. This is one of those films where, like I said in the first part about another movie, that if this was made nowadays, it would not get passed. Even when I read this film's like offended people who are blind and deaf. I didn't think this movie's offensive. I thought it was really funny. I have a friend who's blind and has no problem with this film. He thought it was hilarious. So, just don't watch it because you're like, oh, it offends kind of people like that. It really is not. It really is funny. I'm sure I'm sure most people have seen that. And this one, I only have this film in a 4-pack in this Eddie Murphy collection. I'm talking about the first Nutty Professor. The sequel I liked as well, but it's never as funny as this was first one. Also got Bowfinger and Life, which I gotta watch through again. I mean, they weren't my favorites. The Nutty Professor is a very funny movie with Eddie Murphy. It's pretty much like a remake of the Jerry Lewis one, which I have yet to see. But yeah, I always like the Nutty Professor, and I always wonder if he's gonna do like a third one. I really want him to do another Nutty Professor, since he has done a lot of movies that haven't done so well, and this one is I have this in a 2-pack here with Being the Movie and Johnny English. The one I'm talking about is Being the Movie. This is like the first Mr. Bean film, and then comes Mr. Bean's Holiday, which I liked, but Being the Movie is a better one. It's about Mr. Bean being sent to America to help unveil the Whistler's mother painting, and then he ends up like sneezing on it, getting ink all over. It's such a funny movie. Now, if you like if you love the Mr. Bean show, I would definitely recommend like this movie, because like back then when this movie came out, a lot of people didn't like it because like, oh, it's not like the show, there's too much talking and all that stuff. But just I would definitely recommend, like, if you just prefer the Bean episodes, and I don't know if you're gonna end up liking this movie, but I've always loved Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean's Holiday was actually my introduction to Mr. Bean, and then I watched this after that. I watched the British cut online, and I watched the American one, which this DVD have. The American version has the scene like they did in the Christmas special where he gets his turkey stuck in the head, and it was not on the British one, so that's why I didn't bother with the British one again. Now, this is another Jim Carrey favorite of mine, which I don't know if any of my Christian friends ever watched this film. It's not really offensive to the God thing, and it's Bruce Almighty. I like Evan Almighty as well, but this one is a lot better. Jim Carrey plays this news reporter for a Buffalo news station. Sorry about the interruption. Anyway, as I was saying, this is about Jim Carrey, who plays a news reporter for a Buffalo news station. And he ends up losing his job because he cursed on TV because he was jealous about Steve Carell, who's also in the sequel. Evan Baxter. He's jealous of Evan Baxter for something that really offended him. You know what I mean if you've seen it. But basically, he swears on TV and ends up losing his job. So basically, God comes to him. God's played by Morgan Freeman, who did an amazing job. I always loved Morgan Freeman. He's such a great actor. He was also in another film, which is, I don't count as a comedy, but a good drama film, Lean on Me. That one's definitely a must-see. Anyway, God gives Jim Carrey like his powers, like godly powers, and like for like a week, and help him like turn his life around and change a lot of things. It's definitely a very funny movie. Like if you're a heavy Christian and don't like things that, it doesn't really make fun of God in a way. It's just such a funny movie, and definitely one of Jim Carrey's best. Next to the other ones I mentioned in the last part. And the next one is Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is always like one of my favorite movies. This is like one of the first films I saw next to The Lion King and other Disney films. Like I watched a lot of these at such a young age, especially Ace Ventura and The Mask. I'm sure most people know about this. This is like Tim Burton's first film he's directed. It's about Pee-wee going on an adventure searching for his bike, and it has a lot of memorable scenes. Most people remember the scene at the Alamo, at the Warner Brothers Studios, and the scene with him and Francis. Like, it's definitely like a very good 80s film. If you haven't seen Pee-wee movie, this is the one to check out. There's another one, Big Top Pee-wee, which I liked as well. Like anything Pee-wee Herman, I like. And I even have the newer Pee-wee Herman show on Broadway, which I wish I would have seen live. It just never happened. I really wish. I can't wait if it happens. He makes the new film. The next one is an Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore film, which I like the best. Wedding Singer was really good, but this is my favorite, 50 First Dates. Adam Sandler has to he meets Drew Barrymore at a restaurant, and then the next day he meets her again, and then Drew Barrymore doesn't recognize him. Basically, what happened was the year before she was in a car accident that lost her short-term memory. So basically, she could only remember the events before the accident, not afterwards. So I hope I'm not messing it up. But this is a really sweet film. I remember seeing this film in theaters, and it's such a good one. Like, out of the Adam Sandler films that came out around the time, this is like one of the best ones. And these two I have here. I'm going to save the other one for the Christmas meal I'm gonna do this month. And it's both the National Lampoon movies, National Lampoon's Vacation, European Vacation, and Vegas Vacation. Now, the one thing that sucks about this, this is on a double side thing, DVD, that there's something wrong with the Vacation. Like, there's a glitch in the DVD or some scratch, and I don't know what happened. In the middle, some parts get skipped. But European Vacation plays fine. I mean, most people knows about this. It's Clark Griswold going on a trip with his family, and things go wrong. And Vegas Vacation, I really liked. You know, this is like one of those. This is actually one of those vacation movies a lot of people don't care for. But I thought this one was really good. I really thought it was funny. Like, both films definitely must see. And I really like to see Chevy Chase do another movie, like probably another maybe maybe he can have his kids now all grown up, you know, do the same thing, like maybe very similar. You know, I'd like to see him do another movie like that again. Now, I saved my all-time favorite movie for last, and this is definitely like a film that I watched a lot, something I'm always obsessed for. I say some quotes on a daily basis, and this is Austin Powers International Man of Mystery. And I would pick like all the movies as well, like part 2 and 3. Well, this is the one I'm going to show here. I'm going to show the sequels like later in another video, another time. And this is like my favorite Mike Myers film. Like and even my mom and my uncle said, "Oh, they're going to do another Austin Powers film," and I find that hard to believe. If you've heard anything about he's doing a 4th film, let me know. Not like from don't bring me like any news articles that came out like in the past few years. I was saying in the past month or a couple of weeks, because I find it hard to believe. Because whenever they brought it up, I'm like, because I can't find anything, you know. And I know he's been planning to do a 4th film for a long time, but I just don't know. I mean, I really like to see a 4th Austin Powers film, because I remember seeing the 3rd one in the theater. Like, it was like the first Austin Powers film that I've seen on the big screen. And I was like, oh, like, especially if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Like, the ending, I'm like, oh, there's got to be another one. There has to be another Austin Powers one, because I love to see it again. You know, seeing the 3rd film in the theater was a cool experience for me, even as a kid. But, yeah, so Austin Powers, my favorite comedy of all time. So, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You know, it's like my favorite spy comedy flick ever. So, that's my favorite comedies here, and, sorry I had to split into 2 parts, but I just didn't want the camera to be filled up. So, okay, I'm going to, watch both films again, you know, just to enjoy them once more. But, of course, I have other videos to do in the meantime. So, thanks a lot for watching this. Definitely look forward to what you think about the movies I showed here. And I'd like to know what some of your favorite comedies are. And, I hope, you enjoy the video. So, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.